Hi, I'm Jill McBride Baxter, and I've been a sports law attorney for 30 years, and a coach's kid, and a coach's wife. I get up every day to protect people, be an advocate, and their trusted advisor. Let's get after it. So Grace, now I get to interview you.
Alrighty.
Tell me why a player needs social media presence.
All right. Well, first of all, a lot of players don't recognize that in this day and age, social media is a revenue opportunity. If you have a strong social media following, you are more marketable. And that can be a huge deal for someone who, I don't know, isn't as big name of a player. For example, if you're one of the top 5 draft picks, or first round even, of course, companies are going to be banging down your agent's door trying to figure out endorsement deals, okay? But if you're someone in a later draft, or later round of the draft, you can create interest around yourself using your social media. And if you accumulate a big enough following, like I said, that makes you more attractive to marketers. So the whole point, that's kind of one point, revenue opportunity. Number 2 is personal branding, which is more of like a long-term opportunity goal, okay? So you're only in the NFL for a couple of years, but you would hopefully want to profit off of your participation, whatever pro sport it is, participation down the line, Right. I mean, I think about, who was it? Vince Wilfork, I think, did a commercial with like Kingsford Grill, and it was a hit. This guy, he's not played football in a while, but like he is an interesting character, so he can continue to profit off of that fan interest long after his playing career is done.
Yeah, I mean, that's Bear Pasco is a perfect example of that, because he was a calf roper and a cowboy, and so while he was playing, he did a lot of co-branding with companies that did a lot of rodeo stuff. And so now that he's out, he is still continuing the brand with the different people that he co-branded with while he was playing, and he's now in rodeo. So,
all right.
So
well,
it totally. I mean, so it really does matter. What kind of content should a player post?
So I think players underestimate how interesting they are to the average person. Like, people love having access to your life because they see you as more important than themselves, okay? Like, you're a pro athlete, they're not. So even things that you consider mundane, walking your dog, or, I don't know, cooking, like, that's stuff that fans will eat up. Picking out your outfit in the morning. Like, they want to see that whatever they can get out of your life, really. But stuff that you might consider mundane, fans will eat up. What you shouldn't post,
yeah, there you go.
Is just as
out.
Yeah,
no.
I was going to say that's just as important. So again, with your branding, like, if you're excessively cursing, if you're posting leave the party pics to TMZ, okay? Like,
no party pics.
Yeah, you don't need to be marketing yourself in that way, because again, now if I open up your Instagram feed and I'm seeing like every third photo is you with a bottle of Hennessy in your hand, my image of you, whether it's true or not, might be he has alcohol issues. He's not a hard worker. He prioritizes partying over playing. Like, that's going to hurt you. And also, coaches see that. Scouts see that if you're, on your way up into the pros. If you're a high schooler watching
and
this.
And they're checking your social media now, by the way.
They are checking it now.
Yeah, so watch out.
If you're in high school, college's recruiting staff is going to be checking in on this. So, yeah, there's a lot of, just use good judgment.
Okay, what about getting verified? I've had players ask me about that before, and when can a player get verified? blue check next to their name.
Blue check.
Yeah, the blue check.
The mighty blue check.
The mighty
okay,
blue check.
So what I will say is Instagram, which used to be very elusive when it came to verification, Instagram now has within the app like a form to apply to get verified.
Okay.
So that's one option. And within that form, they'll tell you, like, if you get rejected, here are some things that you can try to do to, like, increase your chances of getting verified next go around. Twitter, this, as of October 10th, 2018, the last that I heard from Twitter on verification for the average person, at least, or whoever, is that they are not really prioritizing verification. It's just something that they're not attending to really at the moment. They have other priorities. That being said, use your social, if you are a coach or a player, use your social media staff. Like, last year when I was with the Saints, we had agents come to us and say, hey, can you help our player get verified? Or the player should come to us, because, there's representatives at Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram assigned to each team.
Right.
And college, it's the same thing. Like, I helped a number of people get verified. Grace, can you help me? And I would kind of pass the request along to my boss. But I guess so one other thing I'll say about verification is, like, it should be a priority for you in college, because if things don't pan out professionally in sports, you can leverage the power and the credibility of that blue check in your next pursuit.
Yeah, and don't wait until after you leave your college.
Right.
Because if you don't get invited to the combine or anything like that, you're not going to get...
Right.
You're going to have a very hard time getting verified. Like, I can call the NFLPA and they can try to submit your name, but it doesn't mean you're going to get verified. So you should do it while you're in college.
Right.
If you do get invited to the combine, I think you will most likely get verified, because you're probably going to be a draft pick and they're going to want you on social media. And if you end up playing for an NFL team, how many? What would you say when you were at the Saints? How many people didn't have a blue check?
Very few.
Right. They already had it, right?
Yeah, very few. Or they got it very soon after joining the team.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
Because they're draft picks, right? But don't expect to get verified if you're not going to be a draft pick. That's where people get a little bit confused as to their celebrity status.
It's all relative. But you don't, I will just conclude with this. You don't need a blue check to secure these marketing deals and grow a following, whatever. Like,
right.
That, the blue check should not be the priority in that respect.
Okay, what would be your quick tips for somebody, a player right now, just like if you have just a couple quick tips that they could do right now to their social media?
Okay, so one thing would be, if you make sure you're on Instagram, but take your Instagram account, turn it into a business profile. You can select like athlete as your label. That will give you access to, first of all, it gives you like a appearance of credibility. You look like a public figure that way. And second, it'll give you access to all of the data around the amount of interactions your posts are getting, how the number of people are seeing it. And that's what is really valuable to your agent when it comes time to negotiate deals with brands. Because the brand will want to know, okay, well, so he has 100,000 followers, but how many impressions is he getting on each post? Like, how many times is that post being seen? Because, there's deals now where it's like, a brand will partner with an athlete and the agreement will be, okay, we want you to post about our product 3 times and we're going to pay you this much to do it. Right. And, send you free gear or whatever, our free product. But they'll want to see, okay, those 3 times that were posted, was it seen by 20,000 people total, 200,000 people total? And, yeah.
What about when a player does get to like the Saints, because you work there? How should they be interacting with social media, or is that pretty heavily regulated by? How does that work? How should they work with you?
I would say understand that the staff, like, the staff loves guys, who want to work with them. Like,
Yeah.
if you're someone who is bitter, like, oh, my team doesn't post about me enough, whatever, demonstrating a willingness to, like, hey, can we, like, you know, shoot some funny videos of me and my teammate or whatever, stuff like that, that makes you more attractive to us. That's one way to kind of increase the amount you're getting posted. And also, like, we want, for as much as we're trying to sell tickets and generate fan interest, whatever, like, we also want to respect your interests and make you happy. So, like, I know when I hear from a position coach or whatever, like, hey, give my guys some love, like, we make a genuine effort to do that, you know?
Mm-hmm. So any other tips that you can think of?
One other thing I guess I would say would just be to start commenting, liking, on, if you don't want to post yourself, interact with other people's posts, because that's a really easy way to get your name out there. For example, I just applauded my friend the other day. He was a 2nd round draft pick. He commented something funny on his teammate's post on Instagram, who is a 1st round draft pick who has a substantially bigger following. And they already have an overlap in like potential fans at least. So someone, a fan of a team of the 1st round draft pick, might now see the name of, oh, hey, that's our 2nd round guy, who maybe they weren't following yet, follow, because of course, like, if it's a fan of the team, they're going to care. So that's, you know, just the more opportunities you give yourself for people to see your name, the more that you'll benefit.
Okay, are there any books anybody could buy that you think
resources? Yeah, so there is a book that I would recommend. It's free. You don't actually have to buy it. It's free. This guy, Jeremy Darlow, he worked as, like, the head of football marketing for Adidas for a while. So he knows what he's talking about. He has a book called Athletes Are Brands Too. It kind of walks you through everything that I talked about, or not everything, but a lot of what I talked about, and just where to start in regards to building your personal brand. I downloaded it off of his website for free. Oh, wow. That would be a good place to start as well. And also, if you're, like, someone who, you hear all this and you get it, but again, like, you just don't want to have to deal with it, that's what hiring a social media manager is for, such as myself. That's
why I hired Grace.
Yeah,
because it's not that I didn't want to do it. I just didn't have time to do it, because I've got to be negotiating deals for my clients and keeping up on the market, and, you know, just it's a lot, and athletes are busy, you know, and so how can they get a hold of you, Grace? And what can you do for somebody if they say, geez, I don't want to do this, I don't want to deal with social media, but they should to build their brand? How could you help them with that?
So it can be as little involvement as I just kind of pepper you with ideas, like, hey, have you thought about this? Why don't you try that? Just to give you some guidance. Or it could be, I will do my best to be in contact with your graphics designers, videographers, photographers, social media staff for your team, saying, like, hey, I'm the one handling so-and-so's content, like, let's work together, and I can, you know, at that point handle, like, posting for you and making sure you're getting the right content on your account. In terms of getting in touch with me, I am, of course, on social media. I'm on Twitter at just_DeWitt, DEWITT 13. That would probably be the best way to get a hold of me. And
you can also call me too, and I'll tell you.
Or call Jill.
Even though if she gets too many clients, I don't.
I'll make time.
She's
for
my best kept secret right now.
And now the world knows.
Yeah, now the world knows, Grace.
Thank you so much, Jill.
Yeah, thank you. If you're a future draft pick or a current NFL player who's renegotiating their deal, please give me a call or visit my website at jillmcbridebaxter.com. You can also subscribe to my podcast on iTunes called Representation Without Taxation. I look forward to hearing from you.